Bonfire 2, did it light my fire? Not exactly, but it also failed to inflame my anger to think it should be cast into the ashes. Bonfire 2 feels like a game in between worlds. Unfortunately, those worlds are the mobile phone-based needless delay games that will charge you to speed up production, and an actual game. So if you like buildings that take far too long to build, moonwalking deer, and having almost zero agency for very long stretches of gameplay, Bonfire 2, the bonfiring, might, maybe, possibly, be the game for you. I like Banished and other survival village games, so I should like this, right? Well, as I say, maybe. Bonfire is a build by day, defend by night village building game, a style of gameplay I very much enjoy. Bonfire has a very strong aesthetic and possesses some interesting later game mechanics, with a clear end goal. Where I think Bonfire fails is in its general approach to village building and management, with a UI lacking useful details at a glance, and very little choice or agency as to how you go about things. To succeed at Bonfire, you must keep an eye on your resources, sort of. Always run the maximum number of guards, no less, or you will have a miserable time. Reload your last save if any guards ever get killed, which they will regardless of what you do about it. Occasionally place a building or two from a specific and limited selection according to those that the game will currently let you, and then faff around managing individual equipment of your islanders, which could totally have been automated. You might recruit new members to your island, which is the real barrier to expansion, as your people seem unwilling or unable to produce their own young. In the later game, exploration, trading, and working towards the construction of Titan forges to kill some evil wizards someplace is also in the offing. It would be nice to take advantage of your guards as workers during the day to speed things up, and perhaps reward some micromanaging, but a mix of pathing issues and whatever else puts you at risk of having your guards glitching, and rather than arming themselves, they will just run on the spot. Similarly, you may want to try something cunning like optimize build orders to get your village going in a different way to your last game, which again, bad luck because the game will limit the buildings you have access to and the number of those buildings you can build. This really detracts from my desire to replay the early game, as your options remain the same from game to game. The combat too suffers from any real ability for the player to influence its course. Your only real way of helping your troops is by making sure they are as well equipped as possible, and then reloading when the AI decides that only 2 of your 12 guards will take on the entire enemy wave, whilst the rest of your guys are still having their first coffee of the night. The combat is resolved by your luck with the AI's choice of where your people will stand. The lack of a useful villager screen to see who is equipped with what, without having to click on each of your villagers individually, is mind-bogglingly annoying, and turns the potentially rewarding act of crafting new equipment for your villagers into a massive faff. And as stated before and elsewhere, Rebus is not a fan of faff. Ultimately, despite its interesting appearance, Bonfire 2 feels like a barely ported mobile game with some interesting ideas smothered out by some awkward and unrewarding game mechanics.